Here's how trucking companies try to dodge responsibility in a personal injury case. One of them is they'll blame the driver of the truck. And by that I mean, quite often trucks are leased to the major companies, so the trucking companies say they're not responsible for what the driver did. The other thing that they'll try to do is destroy or delay recovery of evidence. Trucking companies are famous for not maintaining their service records in a proper fashion, and quite frankly, it's important to try to get these records as soon as possible because the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Act requires companies to maintain records for a relatively short period of time. So if you wait too long, we can't force them to preserve those records. They'll destroy them and say, well, the federal law allows us to do that. Another issue we have to deal with is the complex corporate structure that's out there in the trucking world. There are brokers that hire the load. There are trucking companies and shippers that hire the load. There's the trucker that hauls the load. There's a different company that employs the trucker. So there's a complex corporate structures that we have to get through in order to find the persons responsible and make sure that you receive a proper recovery. Another issue that we'll see with trucking cases is the trucking company and their insurers will pressure you to settle early. You know, they've got people on site right after the wreck, and if they can get something put together and try to get you bought out on a lowball offer, they'll do it. They know that they're doing it, and they know what your cases should be worth, but they'll do as much as possible to pay you as little as possible. Another issue with trucking companies that they'll try to get around federal regulations. Trucking companies are governed by something called the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Act. That's federal law that sets the standard for truckers and the drivers on how they maintain their trucks and how drivers drive their trucks. And they'll do everything they can to try to get around those regulations because that explains the duty that these trucks have and these truckers have to you.